Hello you lovely people, and welcome back to my channel, Cook with Joy. I first just want to apologize if there is background noise. There is some road work going on right in front of my house, but I do need to get this video filmed today. So today's video is a recipe for my favorite vegan and gluten-free macaroni and cheese. Of course, vegan and gluten-free macaroni and cheese is never as good as the real thing, but this one comes very close, and I just love how unique this recipe is, and so I wanted to share it with you. So let's start by showing you all the ingredients we need. Okay, for this recipe, there is the main part, the macaroni and cheese part, and then there's also a topping part. I'm actually going to be having this recipe because it does make a whole 9x13 pan of macaroni and cheese, which we don't need for our family. So I will tell you the ingredients for the entire recipe, and if you choose to half it, you can just put it in a 9x9 pan. But you will need 16 ounces of uncooked pasta of your choice. I have chosen to use this gluten-free brown rice pasta, and I chose the macaroni elbows just so it's more like macaroni and cheese, and then you will just be cooking that according to the package. And then you will need 1/4 a cup of vegan butter, and I have chosen this brand of butter because we really like that brand. And then you will also need 1/4 a cup of flour. Now I'm using gluten-free flour to make this recipe gluten-free for us. 3 cups of rice milk, and you'll want that to be just plain, not flavored rice milk. 2 cups of vegan shredded cheddar or cheese of your choice. And so I grabbed this cheese, which we really like. You will also need 1/2 a cup of vegan cream cheese, and again, we really love this brand, so that is what I have on hand. You will also need 1/2 a cup of nutritional yeast, and then for the spices, you will need 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika. Honestly, this is smoked paprika. It's the only type of paprika I keep on hand, so you can choose what you would like to do. And then 1.5 teaspoons of salt, more or less for whatever your taste is. For the topping, you are going to need 1 cup of French fried onions, and I purchased this brand because it is gluten-free. Not all French fried onions are gluten-free. And then the recipe actually calls for Italian breadcrumbs, but instead of that, what I do is I add almond flour, and it asks for 1/2 a cup of vegan Italian breadcrumbs. So I do 1/2 a cup of almond flour, and then I just add in some Italian seasoning to make it kind of like that taste of Italian breadcrumbs. And then it does also call for 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and then 1 teaspoon of parsley. Okay, I'm starting by just boiling a pot of water for my pasta so I can go ahead and get that going. And while I wait for the water to boil and for the pasta to be done, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the cheese sauce next. And the way you do this, it's kind of like making a traditional cheese sauce where you make a roux. You just melt the butter, add in the flour, and kind of whisk that together, and then slowly whisk in the rice milk. And you'll want to let that kind of bubble and get thickened before you add the rest of the ingredients for the cheese sauce. So after that bubbles and thickens, we're going to just add all the rest of the ingredients and stir it in really well. Let everything get well combined and start melting. We'll set that aside until the pasta is done boiling. now while that macaroni is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and make the topping. And basically you want these crispy onions to get blended up into a blender. You want them to be kind of like crumbly instead of whole pieces. And then I will go ahead and mix in the spices and also the almond flour once I get these mixed up. Okay, the macaroni is cooked, and I actually like to drain it and then place it back in the large pan. It's easier to mix the cheese in with the macaroni noodles in the larger pan before I transfer it to the baking dish, but that is what I'm gonna do now, and then when I'm done, I will top it with the crumble topping. Next, you are just gonna cover this pan with foil and you will bake it at 350 for 15 minutes. And then you'll wanna take the foil off and cook it for an additional 5 minutes, just so the cheese gets bubbly and it starts getting a little bit brown on top. So it doesn't take long at all for this to cook. Okay, tonight I'm serving this macaroni and cheese with some blackened chicken. It's just found in the frozen section at the grocery store, and some roasted broccoli. I will be serving vegan meat to my daughter, by the way, if you know that she is vegan. So I'm gonna give this macaroni and cheese a try with you. It's still pretty hot, even though I served it in this dish a few minutes ago to try to let it cool, but it's still quite warm. That is comfort food right there. Okay, you lovely people, that is all I have for this week's recipe video. Be sure to check out the description box if you want the exact measurements and instructions for this recipe. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing if you like this type of content. And as always, I really appreciate you watching my video all the way until the end, and I will see you next time. Bye.